What up, David here, and today I'd like to talk about the Mario movie because Nintendo just announced that tomorrow, on Thursday, it's going to drop the trailer, and to tease the trailer, it dropped this image right here, and, you know, it's really drummed up a lot of enthusiasm on Twitter, and people are talking about it, and I'd like to talk about it too, because I think it'd be a fun to just kind of discuss, like, what we're expecting from this movie. And from what we know about it, people are like on multiple sides of the fence with it. So we have the picture here. It's a beautiful image. I really like it. It's very crisp, very clear, very clean. And if anything, it makes me optimistic about this movie's visual style. And I was kind of already optimistic about it because it's Illumination. We know they're great. And with Nintendo kind of working hand in hand with them, we can kind of expect them to make sure everything's on model, on brand, and any departures artistically taken from Illumination will be overseen and approved by Nintendo. You know, seal of approval, seal of quality, and all that stuff. But this is the picture. It's clearly depicting the Mushroom Kingdom. We got what seems to be Toad Town, just on the outskirts. Although, I wouldn't say, like, it's... Historically, Toad Town has always been, like, just outside of Peach's Castle. Like, Peach's Castle is part of Toad Town more often than not, where it'll be in the center of it, or it'll be just, like, at the edge of it. In this case, we have the town, and what appears to be, like, a whole dang level here. Like, Peach's Castle appears on a hill, and this is just, like, the movie's version of 1-1. And clearly, Mario and Luigi are probably gonna have to go through this to get even up here. Which begs the question, it must be very hard to get between areas. Like, Peach is all the way up here. Is she basically isolated on this hill? And all of her subjects are out here? I mean, it's kind of true to life if you think about it. But, I mean, what does she float down on her parasol to avoid everything? Maybe there's a cannon that shortcuts you up there. Or a pipe. Let's be real, that's probably what it is, a pipe. But yeah, like, what is it like if you're a Toad commuting up to the castle? Do you need, like, a special pipe pass or something like that? That'd be fun. But I guess if you're working in the castle, you probably live in it, so I digress on that. But there's a lot of detail in here, and I think it looks really nice. We got the hills here, the colored hills, which are very reminiscent of the hills in Mario games all throughout history. Mario's here looking pretty clean, like, look at the detail on these overalls. He's always had like a bit more of a denim-y look with it, and it's just that much more detailed. We got the seams on the hat here. His hair looks a little funky, but I can tell moving, it's gonna look really good. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a 3D model, but once it's moving and once you see the lighting on it, I think it's gonna be great. His shoes look pretty dope. Has he always had laces? Because I think that might be a new feature. That's the cool thing about a detailed look at Mario like this. You can really get in the nitty-gritty with it. I like the little slit in his cuff here on his gloves. Makes them look a little bit less Mickey Mouse and a little bit more like a working man, because that's what Mario is. And yeah, I like the look on this Toad's face. Like, they're clearly like, who the heck is this guy? And this guy's like almost showing him around. Does that Toad have teeth? That Toad has teeth. This is not a high quality picture. Can I get a higher quality picture? Admittedly, it's not that much better higher quality, but look at the detail on this little guy. We got his face here. I think everyone thought he had teeth for a second. Maybe he does, but I don't know. I'm not freaking out about Toad having teeth. The pants are very interesting. I like how they gave them this more Middle Eastern look, which is kind of how the Toads always looked. But we got these like nice poofy pants with the drawstrings on it. It really makes this world feel a little bit more lived in. Got some enemies here. I know these are an enemy from a newer Mario game. I just don't know which. So we got a Cheep for sale. Look at the face on this guy, and that Toad is like ready. He's either gonna make dinner or he's got a new pet. And I like the Toads. They just kind of like are walking around. Question, is Keegan-Michael Key doing the voices for every single Toad? That'd be very funny. And I like this little touch here. An antique shop. This is probably just going to be like a little visual throwaway for the fans that are a bit older. But you got like things like Pow Block, a Donkey Kong barrel. it looks like a POW block on a Donkey Kong barrel. I digress. Little chests here, and you can tell everything still has that like 8-bit look to it, which is really funny. Keys and stuff, things from other Mario games, the note block, the P-switch. I see a Yoshi egg here. That's not very antique-y, but it's interesting, to say the least. We got a little pie shop here, which is probably going to be fun. I mean, again, it just kind of illustrates Toad Town a little bit more, which I think the Paper Mario series also did a really good job with making Toad Town feel a little bit more lived in, more part of the world. This must be the pet store where that Toad got that Cheep Cheep. And you can see the little jellyfish from Super Mario Bros. 3. That's a really nice touch, actually. And I think that's the urchin from Mario World. Lighting looks so good. And hey, I see that little chest. That's unmistakable from the minigame in Mario 3. Antique shop. So yeah, that's what Toad Town basically kind of looks like. I don't see any other little details in there. Mario, again, looks great. The toads look good. What's in this guy's bag? He's got a torch. He's got a little pin of Peach's castle. He's got a rope. This guy is loaded. And he's a red toad, so I'm having a very strong feeling that he's a traveling merchant or something, and he's gonna powwow with Mario and Luigi on whatever adventure they go on. Again, it begs the question, like, we aren't entirely sure what kind of film this is. I'm really hoping it's a nice, fun, vibrant action movie, or, you know, kids action movie, because there's some talk that I saw MatPat has made a theory. I didn't look at it yet, but the theory says it might be a musical. I wouldn't write the movie off completely if it was a musical, but it's just something to think about. Like, I just really hope this movie isn't so obvious a pandering cash grab, because if you look at the visual style here, it's very clearly meant to help drive ticket sales to Nintendo World, the theme park that's in Japan right now and will be in California very soon. It's that exact same vibe, and I can tell they're gonna try to probably springboard into that, you know, just kind of like put Mario back in kids' heads and parents' heads and, you know, really drive more traffic to that, because Miyamoto's been super involved with this and super involved with Nintendo World. So I'm sure there's some synergy between those two. I see even more houses back here. Toads probably live up here and stuff. Actually, the more I'm looking at this now, this might not be so much of a level. It might feel like a level while they're walking through it. I like the fact that the coins are like in a line here, and it's probably gonna feel very much like a level as they navigate through it, but the fact that there are all these houses, there's like a little gazebo up here, it makes me feel that this is all technically Toad Town, so remains to be seen. There's this cliff up here. Again, another house. So, man, commuting must be a nightmare in this part of the Mushroom Kingdom. In the plains, the grassy plains area. But it definitely gives this realm a whole fantasy look to it. Look at this. There's a mushroom. I think that's a toad on it. Am I crazy? I like that these mushrooms here that aren't typical Mario mushrooms, these kind of like, you know, classic looking amanitas, they're they look like the scary shrooms, red coins, like Tall Mountain. They look like the Tall Mountain mushrooms, which I really like. Pipes of various colors. Yeah, I'm assuming, you know, the more I look at this image, the more I'm realizing this pipe system is probably pretty robust. Kind of cool that it's not underground. You can kind of see how it connects. Yeah, they're gonna zip through this place. They probably can jump around and stuff, but once they find that one entrance to a pipe, they're gonna be like... Very cool. I like how this hill has pretty much been untouched. It's kind of like a nice little area. They might take a rest up there or something. I could see them bouncing off of this mushroom onto it and then just like talking or something like that. Yeah, the panels here, they very much look like what they're going for with Nintendo World right now, so that just kind of reinforces that to me. Look at the little platforms here. There's a little level action going on here. And now we get to these floating islands. Now, in a Mario game, these would definitely read like bonuses. Maybe this would be big enough to be a whole level, I'm not sure. And again, if the Mushroom Kingdom might not even be laid out like this might just be a visual thing. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Strange how the waterfall just evaporates before it hits the area, right? It's funky, for sure. I don't see Bowser. I was hoping to see like Bowser in his clown car or something, like, you know, just like a silhouette or something like that. We got a floating question mark block. Yeah, this looks really dope. This just goes to show that like once Mario gets up here, you're just gonna have this lovely view of a waterfall and stuff like that. It looks great from like down here, and it probably looks great up there as well. I got another platforming challenge. They're gonna get to this little area. It very much feels like a Odyssey level, which is cool. You know, you just kind of have these diverging pathways where you would get like a moon or something. Whether they're gonna actually capitalize on these things in the movie, I'm not sure, but they definitely kind of like are doing a good job making this feel like an area that movie characters could walk through, but it definitely feels super video gamey. Now we'll just look at the Peach's Castle, the Peach's Castle. It looks very sleek, if you know what I mean. If you look at Peach's Castle in Super Mario 64 and even Odyssey, where it's a little bit more done up version of that same castle, you know, the castle has like this tiling on it. It's very like, it's textured. This looks very like, very sleek. It's a very much like a dollhouse, a Barbie's castle. It almost looks like ice cream, how like smooth the spires are here. It looks nice. I think it looks really cool. We'll have to see what it looks like up close, because maybe it's more textured when they're like right in front of the dang thing. Of course, we got the classic stained glass, and the typical silhouette of Peach's Castle is very much here, which means I like it a lot. And we'll see if the moat is there and everything else. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. They have no reason not to really do that. And it's interesting, right? It looks like you kind of you either bounce off this, although that looks like a house. There's probably a pipe that gets you up here. It looks like it's very hard to get up here. That's what I'm saying. But there's probably a pipe. It's probably going to take him right up to this area right outside the castle. And there's probably another pipe that goes behind it or something like that. Some craziness. But it looks really cool. Again, begs the question, what type of movie is this going to be? How is Jack Black's Bowser going to be? How is I almost said Chris Pine. How is Chris Pratt's Mario going to be? And the voice acting is just one dimension of it. How's this movie going to play out? Is it going to be interesting? Is it just going to be a classic animated movie where characters just kind of go on an adventure, they learn the power of friendship? I don't know, maybe someone steals Yoshi's cookie and they have to have a heart-to-heart halfway through, or three-quarters, let's be real, before they fight Bowser and, you know, do that whole thing. What kind of Easter eggs can we expect to see? Maybe like I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a kart racing segment, or I just hope it's not like so full of like pandering like jokes, like a Toad just randomly says, well, I really want to start a go-karting area or something like that, you know, just like, okay, I see where you're going with this. I could see the go-karting being like a credits thing. 100%. But, I mean, like, I definitely do want to see little references to, like, things. I just don't want them to beat you over the head with it. Again, it's a fine balance, for sure. It seems like what they're going to be doing is, like, having a lot of things in the background to kind of, I don't want to say pander to nostalgic fans like myself, who grew up with, like, Mario World and 3 and all that stuff. But I can definitely see, like, there's probably going to be an 8-bit Mario segment, because there always has to be. The music, I'm optimistic as well, because they tend to, you know, have these really, like, orchestrated, swelly versions of whatever the material is, and I just think more remixes of Mario songs would be good. I also think they're probably going to depart a little bit and create an original soundtrack for this, but they'll definitely have some beats. You know, I could see them doing the Peach's Castle, you know, motif. I could see them doing it for, you know, the original Mario theme, of course. Underground, definitely. You know, those classic ones. And if we're gonna go to Bowser's Castle, I want to know how much lava is gonna be there. That's gonna look dope. If this is what the lighting looks like for just like a plains area, the water areas are gonna look good. Bowser's Castle will look good. I'm not hell-bent on seeing like every biome. Like, we technically didn't even see desert and sky and all that stuff until way later. But, you know, I have a feeling they're gonna try to create a very rich visual buffet in this movie. It's for kids, we gotta remember that. It's a movie for kids, and it's made for them. And it's supposed to inspire feelings and put Mario back on the map. Can't wait for all the cereal boxes and craft food things that are gonna come back. So, I'm gonna end it off here. What do you think is this Mario movie gonna be? What do you think the highlights are gonna be? What are you excited for? What are you a little scared about? As much as I don't want this to be a generic forgotten movie, and the only thing that would ruin it for me is if they go too hard in the Sonic route, which means everyone's doing TikTok dances or Fortnite dances, and there's an over-reliance on EDM moments and some top 10 song that has to make an appearance in here, like that kind of thing. I'm not keen on that. You know, it was cool with Sonic because he's kind of that attitude character, and you can see him breakdancing and stuff like that. But I can very much see them forcing Mario and gang to breakdance and do silly stuff that they probably wouldn't do otherwise. Boo. I just want to see Boo. Boo and Shy Guy. They're gonna be awesome. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like this video if you like this video, subscribe if you haven't. I'm definitely going to react to the trailer, and you won't miss it if you are subscribed. Smack the bell so you don't miss it, and I'll see you then. Thank you, Fill in the Blanks and Bladed Cross, for supporting me on Patreon, as always. And till then, Dave out. Peace out.